Hey, I'm Peter Josic. I'm the founder and managing director of Spoken Artists. Spoken Artists is an agency that represents keynote speakers and books them for conferences and events all around the world. I've been in the industry now of booking speakers and representing speakers for the last decade, but prior, I was actually producing events and bringing speakers to my conferences. So I had a real familiarity with the space, but was always just fascinated by the business of representing and booking speakers. Spoken Artists was founded in January of 2022. I decided that it was time to offer event planners something just a little bit different. What makes Spoken Artists unique and different is when we're working with event planners, it's a much more consultative approach. We're not sending over a laundry list of names which may or may not have any relevance whatsoever. We are only identifying one speaker on our roster who would be the most suitable candidate for any given role. And we're very open and transparent about where we think we can offer a customer value. So we're not, an agency that is a one-size-fits-all. We won't be for everybody, but the customers that we do work with, we ensure that we're actually able to drive and present the most value for them for any given event. Spoken Artists is different in that we're not afraid to try new things. We're not bound by bureaucracy or the standard procedures that many larger agencies have to abide by, because that's the way that they've been doing business for the last 30 or 40 years. We are very open to trying new things. We are very open to sometimes failing, but then ultimately learning from our failures, of course. What I think makes for a very good speaker is if they tick the 4 C's. And what are the 4 C's? Content, currency, credibility, and courage. I'm always looking out for these 4 C's, but I'm also always coaching event planners to be looking out for these 4 C's as well when they're thinking about their next speaker. Content. What is a speaker going to talk about to your audience that's actually going to leave them more knowledgeable than when they were in the room prior? Currency. Is the speaker that's telling you something today relevant to your audience today, as opposed to things that they've been talking about for the last 10 years now? Credibility. If a speaker hasn't actually ever done anything, but just regurgitating the work of people who have, that credibility piece, I think, goes away. And then the last piece is courage. Do you as a speaker have the courage to tell audiences the things that they need to hear and not always the things that they want to hear? So these 4 C's are what I think equal a very good speaker, but also the things that I look for when I'm recruiting speakers to my roster. How do I find my speakers? I'm looking for people that are just doing really cool things, seeking out the coolest companies in the world, seeking out the people behind the scenes of these companies that are actually making the magic happen. And truth be told, I don't care if you've ever given a speech in your life. That can be taught, that can be coached. But when I go back to the kind of 4 C's criteria that I was mentioning earlier around content, credibility, currency, and courage, the credibility piece, I would argue, is probably the most important. So when I'm looking for speakers, I'm looking to see who's out there that's actually doing the work. Who are these individuals that are in the trenches, doing the things that they're talking to audiences about? So the Coaching Lab is a new service offering presented by Spoken Artists. And what we do is we help people become professional speakers. We help them with their messaging. We help them with their structure, with their unique value proposition, with their branding. So the Coaching Lab is an all-encompassing service package that we offer to individuals who are serious about becoming speakers active on the circuit. The public speaking landscape is, for me, a very exciting industry to be in, for many reasons. One thing that I've learned in being in this space for nearly a decade is how resilient the events industry has become, and arguably has always been. We went through 3 years of the pandemic where there was a lot of uncertainty with many industries. Many industries struggled, including the events industry, but event planners and suppliers like myself learned how to be resilient. So while most in-person conferences were canceled, we just shifted to digital events. Again, just displaying the resiliency of the industry and the crave for people to want content and togetherness. And even though this togetherness wasn't necessarily being facilitated through in-person conferences, we did it online. What does the public speaking landscape look like from here? Well, we'll see hybrid engagements now as part of the norm. So in-person coupled with virtual streaming events. And we'll see a lot of event planners trying new things that they've never tried before. So booking speakers that aren't your conventional 45 or 60-minute keynotes, but maybe a hip-hop artist. So we're seeing new experimentation happening with events that we haven't seen before. What motivates me to do this job every single day is seeing an event come together. A lot of the behind-the-scenes work is just that, a lot of work. But being in the room and seeing everything finally come into play is really what motivates me to do what I do. But even more important, seeing the reaction and the energy levels of the people that are in the room, hearing an amazing speech and being moved by that speech is truly what motivates and inspires me to do what I do. Spoken artists will continue to find the coolest, most unique speakers, and we will continue to innovate with the industry. My name is Petar Josic. I am the founder and managing director of Spoken Artists. Our promise to event planners is to provide them with an experience that their audience will never forget.